Prophet, peace be upon him, never described food as luxury and never ate from gold plates. And yet, every single food he loved, recommended or served at his most important moments has been confirmed by modern science to carry exactly the benefit his life demonstrated. And these are 8 of those foods, starting from the most simple food, which need no cooking at all. Hayas. The Prophet, peace be upon him, called the companions to his wedding feast. And when they arrived, there was no bread prepared and no meat slaughtered. Instead, he ordered leather mats to be spread on the ground and placed 3 things on them: dates, clarified butter, and dried yogurt. And that was the wedding of the Prophet, peace be upon him. This is recorded by Anas ibn Malik in Sahih Bukhari 5085, and it is one of the most vivid moments of simplicity in the entire Sunnah. Hais is these 3 ingredients worked together by hand until they form a firm unified dough that needs no cooking, no fire, and no preparation beyond the mixing itself. And this made it the perfect provision for travelers and the perfect feast for a prophet who chose simplicity at his most celebratory moment. Dates give the body fast energy, clarified butter provides sustained beneficial fats, and dried yogurt carries protein and calcium for the bones, making Hais one of the most complete natural energy sources in Islamic history. And from the food of celebration, we move to the food of grief. And this next one was ordered by Aisha, Talbina. Every time someone died in the household of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Aisha would immediately order one specific food to be prepared, not because anyone was hungry, but because of something she heard directly from the Prophet, recorded in Sahih Bukhari 5689, where he said, Talbina gives rest to the heart of the sick and takes away some grief. Talbina is barley flour cooked slowly with water or milk over a gentle heat until it becomes a soft, smooth porridge. And Aisha described it as something the patient dislikes the taste of, but benefits from, meaning it works even when the person has no appetite. To prepare it, 2 tablespoons of barley flour are mixed with a cup of water over low heat with continuous stirring until it thickens slightly. Then a cup of milk is added for a smoother consistency, and natural honey is used to finish it instead of sugar. Modern research on beta-glucan found in barley has confirmed it directly regulates cortisol, the exact stress hormone the body floods with during grief, which means the Prophet named the feeling 1400 years before science found the molecule responsible for it. Kadid. Kadid is dried meat. A man came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, to speak with him, and his body began to tremble from awe. And the Prophet looked at him with gentleness and said, relax, for I am not a king. I am only the son of a woman from Quraysh who used to eat dried meat. And this is recorded in Sunan Ibn Majah 3312. The greatest man who ever walked the earth described himself through his mother and the simple food she ate. And he did it specifically to calm a man who was overwhelmed by standing before him. Kadid is meat cut into thin strips, salted thoroughly, and left under the sun and open air until it dries completely into something firm, light, and storable for months without spoiling. And it was the food of difficult seasons, long journeys, and modest households across the Arabian Peninsula. After drying, it is usually soaked or simmered in water or broth to soften it before eating. And sometimes it is crumbled into stews or cooked alongside grain to add depth of flavor. Its nutritional value is significant because the drying process concentrates the protein, removes the water weight, and preserves the amino acids that build muscle and sustain physical strength. And because it contains no artificial preservatives, it represents exactly what the Prophet's household relied on: food that was honest, simple, and genuinely nourishing without pretending to be more than it was. Chitha. Aisha's mother tried everything to help her gain healthy weight before her marriage to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and nothing worked until she was given chitha with fresh dates, and then she gained weight. And this is recorded in Sunan Ibn Majah 3324 in Aisha's own words. Chitha is a vegetable from the cucumber family, light in taste, high in water content, and eaten fresh without any cooking. And it was well known across the Arabian Peninsula and grown in the warm seasons of the year. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to eat it specifically with fresh dates, confirmed in both Sahih Bukhari 5447 and Sahih Muslim 2043. And the wisdom behind this pairing was deliberate. The heat and concentrated natural sugar of fresh dates balanced against the coolness and high water content of chitha, so that the body received the full nourishment of the dates without the discomfort that comes from consuming something too concentrated on its own. Ibn al-Qayyim described this principle precisely in his work on prophetic medicine, that cold and wet foods should be paired with something hot and dry dry to balance their effects on the body. And what he wrote as a classical principle has since been studied in modern nutritional science under the term glycemic buffering, which describes exactly how combining different foods prevents blood sugar from spiking and allows the body to absorb nutrition steadily. Tharid, the Prophet, peace be upon him, could have compared Aisha to the moon, to gold, or to any beautiful thing in creation, but he chose a bowl of bread soaked in meat broth, and he said, "The superiority of Aisha over other women is like the superiority of Tharid over all other food," and this is in Sahih Bukhari 54:18, narrated by Abu Musa al-Ashari. Tharid is bread broken into pieces and soaked in rich, slow-cooked meat broth until every piece absorbs the flavor completely, and then the cooked meat is placed on top so the whole dish becomes one complete and filling meal with nothing wasted and nothing separate. It was known among the Arabs for being the most complete and most satisfying meal available. Not the most elaborate, not the most expensive, but the most whole. And the Prophet chose this specific food to describe the most complete person he loved. Today, tharid still exists across the Arab world under different names. Haris in the Gulf, Markook in Saudi Arabia, Tashrib in Iraq, which means this 1400-year-old food has survived every generation because what it provides has never been replaced. Its benefit is straightforward. The bread provides sustained carbohydrates for energy, the broth delivers minerals and collagen from the slow-cooked bones, and the meat supplies complete protein, and the combination in one warm bowl gives the body everything it needs without requiring 3 separate dishes to achieve the same result. One comparison that told you everything about both. Sawiq, roasted grain. On the road to Khaybar, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions stopped, and the prayer became due, and the Prophet asked for food, and there was nothing except sawiq, and this is recorded in Sahih Bukhari 53:90, narrated by Suwaid ibn an-Numan. The Prophet ordered it mixed with water, ate from it with the companions, rinsed his mouth, and led the Maghrib prayer, and there is nothing in the narration that suggests he asked for something better or expressed any disappointment. Sawiq is barley or wheat that is roasted over fire until the color deepens and the grain releases its oils into a deep toasted flavor, and then it is ground into a rough flour and stored dry, ready to be mixed with water, milk, or date syrup whenever needed, or simply eaten dry from the hand on a journey with nothing else required. This made it the most portable and most practical food in the Arabian world. No fire needed, no pot, no market, no waiting, just grain already roasted, something to mix it with, and 2 hands, and the meal was complete. Its nutritional profile is strong because the complex carbohydrates in whole roasted grain release energy slowly rather than in a sudden spike. The B vitamins support the nervous system and improve circulation. The fiber supports digestion and reduces stomach acidity, and the roasting process itself breaks down some of the harder to digest compounds in raw grain, making it lighter on the stomach while preserving the nutrition. The Prophet ate simply not because he had no choice, but because he understood that contentment is its own kind of nourishment. And a bowl of roasted grain, eaten with bismillah and gratitude, carries something that no elaborate meal eaten without awareness ever could. Duba, pumpkin. Anas ibn Malik was sitting at a meal with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he watched the Prophet reach across the dish, follow pieces of food around the bowl to the edges, and collect every single one with deliberate and genuine pleasure. And the food he was following was pumpkin, recorded in Sahih Bukhari 54:39. The word the narration uses is yatatabahu. He was tracking them, pursuing them, seeking them out across the entire surface of the dish. And Anas ibn Malik said that from that day, he never stopped loving pumpkin because of what he witnessed. Duba is pumpkin, a vegetable that grows widely, is eaten cooked, and was well known among the Arabs for its light and gentle flavor that sits easily on the stomach and causes no heaviness after eating. It is prepared by cutting it into pieces and cooking it in broth until it becomes soft and tender, and meat is often added so the dish becomes both filling and nourishing, and it is served warm with a mild, comforting quality that the Arabs described as easy on both the stomach and the spirit. The scholars who preserved this narration emphasize that it shows the Prophet's relationship with food was fully human and fully present. He was not indifferent at the table. He was grateful and engaged, and he found real pleasure in something as ordinary as pumpkin pieces in broth at a simple meal hosted by a tailor in Medina. Modern nutritional research has since identified pumpkin as one of the highest sources of beta-carotene of any vegetable, with confirmed benefits for heart health, blood vessel protection, brain cell support, and skin health, which means what the Prophet sought out at the edge of that dish has now been studied in laboratories and confirmed to be among the most beneficial vegetables available to the human body. Pack-dried yogurt. The Arabs of the desert found a way to take fresh milk, something that spoils within hours in desert heat, and turn it into a food that could survive for years without refrigeration, without preservatives, and without any change in its nutritional nutritional value, and they called it akit. It is known by other names across the Arab world: jamid in Jordan and the Levant, bukal in parts of the peninsula, and it is one of the most intelligent preservation methods developed in the ancient world, created entirely from the need to survive in an environment that offered no refrigeration and no tolerance for waste. Akit came into the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, through a gift recorded in Sahih Bukhari 5402, where Ibn Abbas narrated that Hufayd bint al-Harith sent the Prophet clarified butter, akit, and a dab, a spiny-tailed lizard, and the Prophet ate from the butter and the akit and left the lizard, not because it is forbidden, but because he personally did not eat it. To make akit, fresh milk is placed in a large pot over a gentle heat and stirred continuously while the water slowly evaporates, and over time it reduces into a thick white paste that is then shaped by hand while warm so that the fingerprints mark its surface. And then it is spread on cloth and left under the sun for several days until it hardens completely. And after that, it is stored in cloth bags where it keeps for years. Every small piece of dried akit contains the concentrated nutrition of a much larger volume of liquid milk, which means it delivers calcium and protein in a highly portable and shelf-stable form that was essential for desert travelers, camel herders, and anyone covering long distances without access to fresh food. And across all 8 of these foods, the same pattern appears every time. The Prophet, peace be upon him, consistently chose what was simple, complete, and genuinely nourishing. And 1400 years later, science keeps arriving at the same conclusions he already lived. 8 foods from the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and every single one of them carries both a prophetic recommendation and a nutritional truth that modern science has since confirmed. Share this with someone you love before they go to sleep tonight. Now watch the next video.